Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television. Here are some of the pictures you sent to our Eyewitness portal. We begin with a situation that disturbed many residents of Lagos today. This picture was sent in from Ahmadu Bello Way in Victoria Island. It shows a flooded road, which our Eyewitness says is as a result of poor drainage system in the area. Our next picture is another flooded road in Lekki Gardens, also in Lagos State. Our Eyewitness reporter says that residents are trapped in their homes with the flood waters in their sitting rooms. Another similar picture shows a street in Ilasan, Lagos. That will be in the Lekki area of the state. Our Eyewitness reporter is pleading with authorities to come to the aid of those living along the Victoria Island Ajah axis, as this is what they all go through when there's heavy downpour. And away from the floods, this next picture shows the bad state of a road in Lugbe in the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja. According to our Eyewitness, this road has been abandoned for a long time until it deteriorated to this state. Our Eyewitness reporter pleads with the concerned authorities to fix the road in order to avoid the dangers posed by it. Finally, our Eyewitness reporter who sent this picture of a visible pipeline at Fire Junction, Ijegun in Lagos State, says that exposed pipelines like these ones could be carrying gas. Therefore, concerned parties should ensure it is covered up as soon as possible. We do sincerely thank you for sending those pictures, as we ask that you keep them coming. Voting and counting of votes may have ended in today's by-elections in the Osun West Senatorial District in Osun State, but the experience of travellers on the busy highway has been eliciting reactions. The no-movement order left travellers stranded on the highway, causing traffic gridlock for several hours on the roads. In the meantime, the collation of results has commenced at a ward level across the 110 wards in the Senatorial District.
Vehicles lined the Akoda-Ede axis of the busy Bogon-Oshogbo highway, resulting in traffic gridlock for several hours. Petrol tankers also take their space. Passengers in their numbers stranded as voting continued in the Osun West senatorial by-election, and security agents enforced the non-movement order. Unsuspecting motorists passing through the state to other parts of the country complain of poor information.
According to the information we gathered, they said the road is blocked because of election. This is not, we are not aware. We are coming from Lagos State and we are going to Kwara State for a funeral. Now I'm here stuck. So is it fair? It's not fair.
We have been here for almost 2 hours now. So, and we have been informed that it will be 6 o'clock before we can leave this place. This is unjust.
Away from the traffic jam to voting centres, where most residents left their homes to register their choice. Election observers and politicians alike have commended INEC and security agencies for the handling of the process.
From the dispatchment of police, the DSS, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, I think the security agencies are doing excellently well. They are on top of the situation. So far, it has been good. It has been very good.
It's okay by now. I want to believe it maybe because we are having this only senatorial in the state. All their equipment so far, based on the information I gather, they have been working perfectly well. They have not been complaining anywhere. For now, I think they are doing their best to give us the best result.
With many adjudging the process as peaceful, it will now be a waiting game till the winner of the Osun West senatorial seat is announced.
As part of efforts to tackle the menace of drug abuse and trafficking of illicit drugs, the federal government has promised to tackle the problem quickly in order to secure the future of the nation's youth.
The United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime estimates that about 246 million people globally between the ages of 15 and 64 abused drugs in the year 2013. In Nigeria, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA studies show that the use of prescription drugs is a serious problem with teenagers and young adults. The study also says a teenager is more likely to have abused a prescription drug more than an illegal street drug. Although codeine is a drug normally used in the management of pain and diarrhea, reports show that it is widely abused because of its potential to reduce euphoria when consumed in excess. Other pain relievers which are sometimes abused are morphine, pentazocine, tramadol, and pethidine. The rising cases of substance abuse amongst youths in the country is a challenge. That is why the federal government, through the Ministry of Health, has promised to support persons who are dependent on drugs to overcome the challenge during the 2017 International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking.
The increasing number of drug trafficking consumption and its impact on the state and society is not in doubt. As part of national efforts to reverse this trend, Nigerian joined member nations in April 2016 during the UN General Assembly Special Session on Drugs to affirm the 2009 policy document on political declaration and plan of action on international cooperation towards an integrated and balanced strategy to counter the world drug problem.
The Director General of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, on his part, wants more commitments from parents, guardians, civil society organizations, and non-governmental organizations.
Effective listening can equally address the issue of drug trafficking. We need to listen to traffickers and potential traffickers alike to enable us ascertain factors that move the drug market and then model our strategies that can contain their evolving tactics and gimmickry.
Experts say excessive use of drugs can alter vital parts of the brain that are necessary for life-sustaining functions and can drive the compulsive drug abuse that marks addiction.
To get a broader perspective on the increase in drug use in Nigeria, I'm being joined on the News at 10 by Mr. Olumide Akintayo. He is the former president from Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. And thank you so much indeed for coming on the News at 10.
Thank you.
This is the figures that we have. It's reported that 1 in every 14 Nigerian youths is faced with this challenge. How did we ever get to this point?
Well, I think the biggest of the problems stems directly from unrestricted access to all categories of medicines and drugs in our society. Ours is a place where people walking into patent medicine shops or places popularly called chemist shops, and they can access and purchase any type of medicine under the sun. Private hospitals, pharmacies are all sometimes also implicated. For instance, you're not even supposed to carry drug stock in a place that is not registered by a pharmacist, even in Nigeria. That is why you find out that medicine regulation as a global endeavor is something that falls within the purview of central federal governments. For instance, in Nigeria, you find out that drug matters are listed by virtue of item 21 in part 1 of the second schedule in the 1999 Constitution. It was the same thing in the 1979 Constitution. This was a way of showing that drugs are very sensitive commodities, quote unquote. But unfortunately, I don't think that government has supported the regulatory agencies involved in medicine distribution the way we see in other claims. Yeah, and there are 3 principal regulators in the drug distribution sector: NDLEA, you have the very popular NAFDAC, and Pharmacists Council of Nigeria. NDLEA deals with the psychometric, narcotic drugs, dangerous drugs. NAFDAC has a mandate to ensure safety medicines, chemical devices, water and all that, while the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria is saddled with the responsibility of registering pharmaceutical premises, patent medicine shops, and people who have medicine facilities in our country.
So there has to be a synergy in trying to
exactly
to
the
contain
point.
this
Menace, yes.
widening gap of but looking at it closer, how do we, is there a quick fix to this?
Yes, I believe so. I believe that the incumbent administration is making some progressive strides in some areas of national life. But one of the major drawbacks I see is that somehow it's unfortunate that the same administration has not been able to put up structures in some key regulatory agencies, some MDAs, 2 years, in fact more than 2 years into the life of the administration. I'll give you specific examples. As we speak, you do not have a substantive Director General at NAFDAC. You do not have a council of NAFDAC. It's the same thing at the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria. The board has not been reconstituted. It's a tragedy that whereas the Enabling Acts of Parliament provides for perpetual succession in the structures of these agencies, each time government in its wisdom dissolves boards of parastatals, it affects these key agencies. Now, you cannot continue to run with ad hoc structures in these places. And these are certainly things that have compounded these problems in the last few years. You were talking of about 1 in 14. I think a more realistic data shows that it's actually about 1 in 10 now. Now, people have gone beyond amphetamine, cannabis, and the traditional things that we used to see in the past. You see people degenerating now to things like glue, lizard waste.
Glue?
Yeah.
Lizard waste?
Oh, yes. Choking smell of septic tanks and things like that. Because what they want to achieve is a certain state of euphoria. And you'll be surprised that these things also encourage all of that.
Now, this is what we have. The youth are the most affected in this drug abuse syndrome that we are seeing.
Yeah.
Talk to us about rehabilitation efforts by the government and personal bodies like the one that you run. What have you been able to do? Do you synergize?
Well, we do. But of course, it can be a lot better. You know, ours is a society where we have never placed any form of value or premium on mental health endeavors. You know, there's a certain stigma that comes with people associating you with visiting psychiatric hospitals or a rehab home and all of that. And so these things need to be better managed so that we can bring some succor and benefit package to the doorsteps of people who are very vulnerable, the youths, like you said. But I think one area that government will indeed make tremendous impact, it's that if we need to deal with this from the very source, we must, in the spirit of placing drug matters on the exclusive list for regulation or for legislation, we must therefore put effective structures in place to ensure that the very weak regulatory control we see associated with these regulatory agencies become things of the past.
That's a good place to
government must, as a matter of urgency, appoint DG of NAFDAC, reconstitute the Pharmacists Council of Nigeria, restructure the NDLEA, and I'm sure we'll just gather the necessary momentum to address this challenge.
Brilliant. Many thanks indeed for talking to us on this very troubling concern. Olumide Akintayo is the former president from Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria. Thank you for talking to us on the News at 10. When the News at 10 returns, Nigeria's interbank retail forex market receives $254.3 million from the central bank. That's on Business News. Join us again.